Hey, what's up? John Sonmez here from simpleprogrammer.com. So every once in a while, when I'm at the gym, I sometimes have these thoughts, and I put them on Twitter, and then sometimes they become YouTube videos. I've done a couple of these before. I thought I would do one now because I did this tweet a while ago, and I put it into my little, what do I use this app? It's called Drafts on iOS. My buddy Josh Earl turned me on to this app, and I use it all the time now to put notes. I used to just email myself. This has the ability to send a note to email it to yourself. But I had this tweet that I said, loss is an illusion. You can only gain perspective. And I thought, hey, let's do a YouTube video on that, because that's sort of a deep thought, and something that I do firmly believe is a good perspective to have in life. So I think a lot of people really get hung up on, and I can do the same myself, on loss. We can view things that we lose as something as bad, and we can really give too much credence and too much to the idea of loss, and focus on that instead of realizing that the reality, at least a reality, a way that we can choose to see the world, is that there is no such thing as loss. There's just a gain in perspective. Because just about every time that you, quote, lose something, hopefully, or you can choose to gain perspective. You've learned something, you've changed your perspective on something, and that's a powerful way to look at the world, right? I think it's the opposite of, I talked about not being a victim, of that victim mentality. It's very much the same mentality of taking responsibility for your life and taking responsibility for things. And I was thinking about this just as a lot of people were complaining. I see all the time complaining about what's wrong, or what they've lost, or what has gone bad in their life. And I could do the same thing, right? And I have to do this myself, right? I have to convince myself a lot of times. I have to choose and say, because bad things happen, right? I lose things, and it's kind of funny because we get upset about things that we lose that we didn't have before, right? So if I didn't have something, let's say that I didn't have a new car, okay, and someone gave me a new car, okay? Let's say that I won a new car, and I had this new car, and then that new car got trashed or got taken away from me. I would be upset about the loss. But in reality, if you think about it, I should be neutral, because I started without it, and then it magically came to me. I got this gift, right? And then I lost that thing. And that's really, if you think about it, that's really a metaphor for life, because all of life really is that. I mean, when we're born into this world, we don't really have anything. We don't, there's really no expectations. Like, we don't necessarily deserve anything. So everything that we've given, that we've been given, including our lives, including the air that we have to breathe, including every moment of time that we have, and every relationship and person that enters our life, and every good thing, is really, in a way, a gift, right? I did this video on gratitude. I highly suggest you check that out for that mindset. But you can really think of life, and everything in life, as a gift. And this is a powerful way to view things, because when you view things that way, when you do suffer a loss, and we're all going to suffer a loss, like, losses will happen, we can say that there is no loss, right? Because there was nothing. It was a gain, it was a bonus, it was gravy to begin with. And then we can really see it as not necessarily a loss, but a change in status, which gains us perspective, which should gain us new insights. We can see something that we didn't see before. And a lot of times I have to convince myself. A lot of times I have to see my own losses, because things happen, right? I have, my life is not perfect as much as I would like it to be, although would I really, right? I have bad things that happen to me, right? I have losses. I make mistakes. I lose some money here. I do make a bad investment. I do things that don't pay off, right? Relationships, all kinds of things can go wrong, and they do go wrong in my life. And so I do suffer some amount of loss, but I don't choose to view it that way. Every time I think of it as I'm willing to let things go, right? I did this video on letting things go, and a follow-up video on that as well. And I'm willing to, have the butterfly in my hand and have the butterfly not be in my hand. And then what I have to tell myself is that, what did I learn from this? What is the perspective change that I have now? Why did this loss occur, right? Sometimes it's, quote, not my fault, but, and really sometimes it isn't. There's not really a way that I can pin it, but I take responsibility anyway. And I say, well, how can I benefit from this? What can I learn from this? And so that's all I won't make this this a super long video because I think the concept is fairly simple, but I would just say, again, that loss is an illusion. There is only a gain in perspective, and it's because we think that we're entitled to things. It's because we don't see every day and every breath and every moment as a gift and every relationship as a gift that we perceive loss. But when we see all those things as a gift, when we're grateful for all those things, and we realize we don't deserve any of those things, and all of those things are just gravy, that it's a blessing, it's awesome to be able to have anything, then we don't see things necessarily as so much as a loss, and we can see what we can gain in perspective, right? Everything in life can be viewed as a gain if you think about it that way. I know it's sometimes difficult, but it's a more productive way to view the world than to view it as what you lost. I never try to focus on what I lost. I always try to focus on what did I gain and what did I gain in perspective by some amount of suffering, because sometimes suffering is the only way to bring about a perspective change in your life. So you can appreciate that and have gratitude for that as well. All right, that's all I got for this video. If you want to gain some perspective, if you want to be able to separate the results from the process and remind yourself of how important it is, there's a simple way that I've developed. That's the reason why I made this shirt. You can click on me and you can get one of these shirts. A lot of people have found some solidarity in wearing this shirt together. So I invite you, if you find it useful. I wear the shirt all the time and remind myself to trust the process. All right, if you like this video, click that subscribe button below, and I'll talk to you next time. Take care.